Hey guys, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. It's Donovan.
Gordon Parkin. Good morning, everybody. Hope you enjoy our show today.
I'm hoping they will too. So we're at the last weekend of Super Rugby, and we've got the Crusaders playing the Lions in Christchurch.
Yeah, but I must tell you, Don, shit, our winter is damn hot. So I've got to take this black thing off.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm also very, very hot.
Yeah,
I
can feel my head sweating and water running down into my shoulders and everything.
I absolutely
agree.
So
I'll just take it off.
I agree. 100%. Look, I'm going to be completely unbiased in this show today, so I'm not supporting any one team or another.
Yeah, I won't support. Rugby wins the day, but I've always got a soft spot for a New Zealand team. And I don't know, my soft spot might just not apply to this game because my South African team, the Lions, must win.
I agree 100%. Look, every single person that I've seen on the internet, all the TV shows I've watched, every single pundit out there said the Crusaders are going to slaughter the Lions. This whole year I've gone through Super Rugby and I've always put South African teams to win, and I've decided I'm not going to change. I'm going to say that the Lions are going to win on the weekend, and I even put it on my Super Brew that the Lions are going to win by 12 points.
Well, that's very nice. My belief too is that the Lions will win. They're an excellent team. They've got three major players playing for them. They got Roger Whiteley. Is it Roger?
No, Warren.
Warren
Whiteley.
Confusing him. They've got that youngster Elton
Yankees.
They've got that youngster on the left wing that scored the try.
Fia Duante.
Yeah, they got him, and then they have
the Beast. The Hulk.
No, not the Beast. Yeah,
the Hulk.
So I reckon we got some muscle there.
I think so
and
too.
We combined with speed.
I think so too. I think if I look at the team, I know that the Crusaders side, they've got their front five of all Blacks. I think they've got 7 All Blacks in their starting for their starting forwards. I think there's 12 All Blacks all in all on that starting Crusader side. But then I started looking at the Lions side and I was going, we got Marks is just Springbok. Ruan Dreyer was
I forgot to mention
Malcolm Marks.
Yeah, that's 4 guys.
Malcolm Marks is a Springbok. Ruan Dreyer was a Springbok.
Elton's played once, I think, for the Springboks.
Elton's been a Springbok. Ruan Combrink's been a Springbok. Whiteley's been a Springbok.
Is he the scrum half?
Who?
Combrink.
No, Ruan Combrink's the other wing. So Fia Duante is obviously a new Springbok. Andries Coetzee was also a Springbok. So look, there's also a lot of Springboks on the Lions side. Look, I'm going to be honest, it is going to be quite difficult for the Lions to actually win. They're travelling on Thursday across to Christchurch to play.
Yeah. Doesn't give them much time to acclimatise.
I think they're acclimatising here in South Africa, so they're going to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So to obviously try acclimatise and then do the flight across. Yeah. But I must admit, look, Swys de Bruin, their coach, is not making many friends in New Zealand. He's saying that the New Zealanders are whinging about the conferences and the conferences, which I think is a little bit uncalled for by him. At the end of the day,
just whining.
Just whining. For the sake of whining. I think he's just whining for the sake of whining. And I don't agree with that with Swys de Bruin. But if I look at the game that's going to come up, both packs I think are equally matched. Both teams can attack very well. The only downside to the Lions game this year has been their defence. They've led through some really soft tries, and I think if they can shore up their defence for at least the 80 minutes, obviously. Yeah. Then I think it might be a lot closer than a lot of people think.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've got my Bucks on the Lions, and I think the Lions won't let me down.
I'm going to put all my faith in the Lions and say that the Lions are going to win. And
we've got it because we've invested tons of
big money in these caps.
In these caps,
I've got to tell you guys, I searched for caps.
And we get a sticker.
And we got a sticker for our car, which I won't put on my car because
it's showing favouritism.
Yeah, I don't show favouritism to any other one team or another. So I searched for forever to try find a cap, and I eventually had to go buy from the Lions store in Johannesburg, and it took like 2-3 days, and they arrived here. But yeah, at least we've invested money in these caps, so they have to win.
Better be a payoff.
There has to be a payoff. You know, I know it's big money that we've spent, but they have to win. They just have to win. So here's look, the odds are stacked against them. Everyone's not giving them. They've got the travel factor. The odds are against them. They're playing against an extremely good Crusader side, but I've just got to say the Lions are going to win by 12 points, and that's what I'm going to say today.
Well, if you look at Whiteley, Marks,
Mostert,
yeah,
Smith.
The boxer.
Gordon thinks Quagga Smith was a boxer in his previous life because he's got a very, very flat face, so it looks like he's been punched a lot.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think from the forwards pack, I think the Lions can compete, and I think Afia Duante is just an exceptional talent as a winger for South Africa. I like Lionel Mapu. Who's the scrum half again? Is that
scrum half is that youngster with the blonde hair. Remember I said I didn't like him.
Yeah.
I preferred Faf.
Yeah. Ross Cronje. Yeah. And obviously Kyle Brinker's playing, and he's had an exceptional year this year playing for the Lions. So yeah, look, I could speak about the Crusader side. I know that Cody Taylor's going to have to step up against Malcolm Marx. I rate Cody Taylor. I think he's an exceptional player.
I reckon that the only thing they've got to fear in Australia and New Zealand is intimidation, because when they play the haka.
No, they don't have the haka this week.
I don't want
that. No, that's only for the All Black games.
I see. Okay.
So yeah, I think it's everything's stacked against the Lions, but I've got to give it to them that I say they're going to win. But I think it's going to be a titanic battle. If I look at, I think it's Owen Franks, Cody Taylor, Barrett, Sam Whitelock, who's exceptional.
Barrett.
Yeah, Sam Whitelock. Then you've got Kieran Reid, the New Zealand captain. He's number 8. Richie Mwanga is playing an exceptional year of rugby. I think Ryan Crotty's injured. Jack Goodhue is phenomenal. So yeah, I think they've got stars across that whole field.
Yeah. But look, if the Lions don't win, I mean, I wouldn't. It's not the end of the world, because
no, of course not.
Either way, I support rugby.
Yeah.
And
I'm hoping that the best team on the day wins.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's all we want.
It's a nice clean game.
Clean game. No yellow cards. No red cards. No iffy TMO decisions. That it's just good, clean. It's above board. It's two teams that are equally matched that are fighting for the title, and that's the perfect way to end Super Rugby this year.
I just hope they have a nice spectator crowd.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. It has been quite disappointing this year, the crowds at Super Rugby, for whatever reason. I don't think there's an easy fix for it going forward. I really don't think there's an easy fix for it. It's becoming quite expensive to go to these games.
Oh yeah, gee, it costs a lot of money.
Like I think the one Kings Park was 160 or 200 rand a ticket. So you take your wife, maybe you got 2 kids.
City buggers rather have the stadium half empty, or even 3/4 empty, than reduce the price and have the full.
No, exactly, and I think
the full stadium.
If obviously you have the 2 adults that pay, they've got to pay for their kids, and then they've got to buy the food and the beers and everything at the stadium. It works out to like a 1,500 rand day. And, that gets quite expensive if you're not earning lots of money and you've got bills to pay and everything.
If you're a poor South African.
No, exactly. And if they halve the prices, make it a 700 rand for the day. It actually makes it
for the whole family.
For the whole family. And you could even have it that if school kids come in their school uniforms through the school, it's completely free.
Well, I see some rugby games, they have got kiddies.
I saw it last week.
Yeah, last game.
Yeah, the last week at
Blue,
Ellis Park.
grey blazer, and greyish colour tie.
And I think that's a great idea. And also maybe having a curtain raiser game, maybe doing a lot. I remember when we used to go to Kings Park and they used to they used to braai on the outside of Kings Park, and it was such a festive atmosphere.
Oh yeah, so it was, and the after party too.
Exactly. You know, where's those
people used to get home at 1 o'clock, go to watch the game at 3, but get home at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's just
they meet friends and people that new friends. I don't know if that still applies, eh?
I don't know. I haven't been to Kings Park in a long time, but I just feel that they need to offer a little bit more at these kind of games to obviously make it a lot more entertaining for the whole family. You know, because at the end of the day, the people that you want in the stadiums are families. You got the parents who are spending the money, supporting the teams. You've got the kids that are getting into the sport and trying to. You're trying to get the kids involved in the sport so you have a future for the sport.
You know, Don, in the early days, I'm talking about 15, 20 years ago, the Sharks, just after they were renamed, they were Natal before that.
Yeah.
When they became the Sharks, people used to they used to have like a stadium in the car park, and the team used to come along once they had showered and got dressed, and they said, people used to throw questions at them and they used to answer them, and
it's like a whole interaction kind of thing with the crowds. Look,
I mean, they even had a thing. I think Gary Tarpon was the lead singer. We are black, we are white, we are dynamite. We're the Sharks, eh?
Yeah, see, and what's happened to those days? Look, in all fairness, look, I know Christchurch, they went through that quite heavy disaster with the earthquake and all that, and I know they're still trying to rebuild the city, and a lot of people need housing. So, look, yes, I can understand that from that point of view, but if I look at the other stadiums like Eden Park, Ellis Park, I can't remember what the Cape Town is in where the Hurricanes play, but all these stadiums, Kings Park, Free State Stadium.
Kings Park is capable of taking, I think, 65,000 people.
Exactly. And I just look at all these stadiums and they are.
And 5,000 go now.
Yeah, and it's look. Let's be honest. I can say this, but I also don't go to the stadium.
I wonder if rugby's losing its flavour amongst the spectators.
Maybe. I just think that in this day and age that you have to offer more than just the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's either school games before, and this weekend there is Paul Gymnasium playing also a Paul school. I can't remember its name now, but the one school's 160 years old, the other school's 150 years old.
Oh, shame.
And they're playing this weekend, and they're expecting 30,000 people to come watch the game.
More than our stadiums.
At a school game.
Yeah.
At a school game. Now that's pure tribalism. That's 30,000 people going to watch school rugby.
You have the same at Kersney and Durban and Michael House and
exactly.
And all those. You have full capacity, and the parents are very supportive of their children.
No, but 30,000 people to come watch a school game. That's more than just the teachers and the students and their families. That's people that are coming from all over the place to watch this game.
Yeah, we'll have to speak to the powers that be about that, because it's not going to change overnight.
Anytime soon.
They might have to revert back. I don't like going backwards, but this is a positive backward move.
Yeah.
And from that backward move, they can go forward.
Well, I think like if they have maybe a school game, maybe a women's rugby game, then the actual main game, and then you have entertainment for the kids outside, so that the kids are safe, the kids can play, and the parents can enjoy having a few beers, and they know that the kids are safe. Maybe it makes it a whole more of an experience as opposed to just being a Super Rugby game.
I don't think I could myself personally. Just for the point of the discussion, is withstand watching two what are those games before?
Curtain raisers.
It was just too much rugby.
Yeah, but it could be that if it's a school game. So you imagine you at Kings Park and you've got DHS playing Glenwood.
Glenwood, yeah.
Okay? So we got that as the game beforehand. So you'll obviously have the parents and the
they'll
students.
all go because
they'll go to
schools.
they'll go to that game first. Then just before that game, you have the Sharks under 21s versus the Griquas or whatever before the game. So it's an under 21 game, and you'll have more, or maybe a club game. Maybe getting a few clubs. You know, I know Joburg, you got the Wanderers, and there's quite a few places where you have these clubs, and then you have the club people coming in, and then finally you have all the people that are actually coming to watch the main game, and that makes it a little bit more. There's a lot more people for that day.
Now, Durban's got. I think they've still got clubs. Collegians, I know. Grant played for them once.
But yeah, I just think trying to bring that tribalism into the thing.
Maybe they should do a consensus amongst the spectators and see what the spectators want.
Yeah, I think so too.
And do like an informal vote. And
just to see.
I don't know.
Something online.
Don, it's global. This.
It is global. It is global.
If you find Europe, it's not.
No, see, but if I look at the Pro 14 and the Viva Premiership and all that, their stadiums are 15,000.
Yeah, that's
10 to 20,000. So obviously, I'm not talking Twickenham and places like that. I'm talking more I just look at these stadiums and they're a lot smaller, and so they seem like they're a lot fuller.
Yeah.
And there's less overheads to have a smaller stadium. Look, I'm not saying that we need to go build another stadium that's smaller. But maybe taking rugby out to other places might be more interesting. You know, maybe going to Kimberley with one Super Rugby game a year, that stadium would be packed because they don't get to watch Super Rugby every year.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe to Mpumalanga or I'm not sure about Australia and all that, but taking some of the Super Rugby games outside of it to the smaller stadiums, and to the smaller communities, it would be packed.
Could be.
I think that might be an idea of getting it. But look,
who do we contact?
Jeez, I don't know. I really
it'll go through so many stages that you eventually will give up.
But yeah, look, I'm going to make a commitment. Next year at Super Rugby, I'll commit that I'll go watch 2 games at the stadium.
Yeah. Okay.
Look, I'm only saying 2 games because I live almost 2 hours away from Cape Town. So it's obviously a bit of a drive for me to get there, and I only get home quite late at night. But I'll make a commitment that I'll do 2 rugby games next year. So I think I'll do the Stormers versus the Bulls.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously when
Stormers versus the Lions as well. Those would be 2 interesting games.
Interesting games, and I might go watch. Maybe go watch the Stormers play the Chiefs. Yeah. If they're playing in Cape Town. But yeah. But let's get back to this weekend.
Okay.
And we're both saying that it's going to be a Lions victory this weekend, and we're probably going to be the only people smiling and having a great time after the game when Warren Whiteley holds up the cup. Look, we may be living in delusional world, and we may be completely crazy, but we're not going to change who we are. I'd rather say I'm going to support my team 100% and be disappointed than not be myself.
Yeah, no, I'll go along with you, Don. I really like the Lions. I followed them last year.
Yeah.
And
last year was the year that they should have won it.
And I'm not a supporter of a specific team. I'm unbiased. Here's me from Shark territory.
With a Bulls jersey behind you, with a Lions cap on, we have to be unbiased.
Yeah,
But yeah, listen, guys. Here's looking forward to a great weekend of rugby. Last weekend of Super Rugby. It's been a great year. Very, very entertaining. I still think that the best teams did make it through the top 8. And here's looking forward to a great weekend of rugby. But listen, guys. I hope you have a great weekend and chat to you guys soon. Cheers.
Yeah. Guys, before I sign off, thank you very much for those who sent in wishes of goodwill for me. I really appreciate that. I still am not out of the woods yet. I have cancer in the brain and on the lung, and my final scan is on the 16th. So I'm feeling better. I'm starting to put on a bit of weight on that. And here we've got the sun coming out on the Cape. You know how cold it is in the Cape in winter. But it's that sun I need to refresh me. But thank you very, very much for that support, for the people that wrote in.
But guys, you must understand when it comes to cold, you know, Gordon and I are from Durban, where the coldest temperature in winter is like 24. So when we're in the Cape here and it's like 9 or 10, it really hurts. So yeah. But listen, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. Chat to you soon. Cheers.
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 Thank you. Bye.